and welcome to Hands and Crafts Tip of the Week. We thought it would be fun to highlight each of the different types of wood we use for our mini spinners, yarn ball holders, and lazy Kates, and just get to know and learn a little bit, about each of the different woods. This week, I wanted to highlight cherry because cherry is our most popular wood, and it has the most difference in variety in the grain and its characteristics. So I thought we could learn about cherry first. Cherry wood is a hardwood that comes from the American black cherry fruit tree, Prunus serotina, also known as black cherry, American cherry, rum cherry, whiskey cherry, and wild cherry. Prunus serotina can be found along the East Coast, in the Midwest, and in parts of Mexico. American black cherry trees grow in abundance in the eastern United States and are the fourth most harvested lumber in the U.S. In ideal conditions, black cherry trees can grow as high as 100 feet tall and 4 feet in diameter. On average, most grow between 50 to 80 feet tall with a 2 to 4 foot diameter. The cherries that grow on the American black cherry fruit tree are not the berries you'd find in the fresh produce section at your local grocer. They are small and tart and grow in clusters on mature cherry trees. The cherries are often quickly eaten by birds. Birds spread the seeds of its fruit, maintaining a steady supply. The leftover berries are usually used for jams and jellies. Prunus serotina was plentiful when the first settlers came to the New World. During colonial times, furniture makers dubbed cherry wood New England mahogany after observing how exposure to light brought out a rich red-brown color. While all trees darken with time, cherry wood has a distinct process where it starts with a light golden pink tone and darkens to a rich reddish brown color. It does this because of a combination of the exposure to light and oxidation. Natural cherry wood changes color with time between trees and even different boards of the same tree, making each piece unique. This darkening process is more apparent in the first 6 months of exposure to light. It continues for a few years until it reaches cherry wood's beautiful reddish brown hue. And this happens even after it's been finished. So while many love the darkening process, it's important to monitor the exposure of the wood just to make sure that any darkening that does happen happens evenly. So if you have a piece of tape or paper or a sticker or anything like that on your cherry wood mini spinner, that spot will not darken. It'll, the rest of the wood will darken around it, and then you'll have that spot there that will forever be lighter than the rest of your mini spinner. So let's talk about the grain and color characteristics. Cherry wood has a fine, straight grain that is easy to work with the exception of a few, sometimes you could get a figured piece that has a curly grain pattern. But other than that, it's pretty easy to work with. Its simple, smooth, and closed grain pattern is similar to maple, actually. Cherry has a fine, even texture with a moderate luster. Occasionally, you will get a piece with Medullary Rays, which to us resembles like a moire silk. It has a sheen when you move. This one has it a little bit. If you move, we'll get a closer look at each one in a minute, and I can point that out a little bit easier. Sometimes it's hard to tell on the camera, but if you move it, depending on where the light hits, you can see this beautiful luster. There may be pith flecks, worm tracks that create a little brownish streak in the cherry wood, mineral deposits or gum pockets, as well as the occasional knot. I've picked out 4 cherry pieces here that have a good representation of, the different kind of marks that cherry can have. Mineral deposits, also called pitch pockets or sap pockets, are little black spots that can occur randomly in cherry wood. They are where sap was stored and are, they add some texture and are completely natural. So though they may look like, something wrong, there absolutely nothing wrong with these marks. They're, 100% natural and beautiful in their own way. Some you'll notice with one of the pieces I've selected here, there are 2 different colors, 2 major tone differences. The sapwood is this lighter color, and it's usually a creamy pale yellow color, and it's located on the outer rings of the tree. And the heartwood, which is closest to the center of the log, starts out a pinkish light brown and develops into a reddish, rich reddish brown over time. So that would be, out here. This is the heartwood, and this would be sapwood. Okay, so let's get a little bit of a closer look on these guys. Okay, let's see. So, let's back up just a tiny bit. Whoops. Okay. So, maybe I'll just bring it forward. All right, so you can see as the light hits in different spots, especially right down in here, that would be what is known as a medullary ray. This particular piece has a stunning grain, lots of different shine when you move it, different colors, lots of different streaks. It's got, you can see, let's see, right in the front here, that would be a mineral streak. Okay, we have a little tiny, could be a knot here, could be a pinhole, or a pin knot. Let's see. This one, just the natural rings in the tree you can really see here. It also shines really nicely. You see the rings here, kind of, pretty straight grain. Not too much of the, I don't see really any knots or anything in that one. This one here has, this one's gorgeous. It's got a couple knots here. It's got the sapwood. That turns into the heartwood. It's got, mineral streaks and sapwood on the side. Just a really pretty piece. Now, usually we would reserve a piece like this that has the 2 tones for one of the fiber events. But since we aren't doing the fiber events this year, in person, if you are interested in one that has 2 tones of wood, both shows the sapwood and the heartwood, just let us know. And if we have one, we'll definitely send it. You could see here, a little bit of darkness there and some nice little subtle knots there. Yeah, so cherry is definitely unique in its own way, and each piece is different. So I hope you enjoyed, and come back next week for a little close-up on one of our other woods. Have a nice day. Happy spinning.